Good morning, friends. I am Dr. S.S. Landway. Today we are going to learn Introduction to Literary Criticism paper for semester 6th. First of all, I would like to give brief introduction to syllabus and what are the objectives of the syllabus. First objective of the syllabus to introduce students to the major trends in literary criticism. In this particular paper of Introduction to Literary Criticism, you are going to learn and introduce the major trends in literary criticism. In the last semester, as you learned about the neoclassical criticism, classical criticism, and now you are going to learn the next part of it and another major trends in literary criticism and literary movements like symbolism, surrealism, modernism, and all what are the prescribed isms for you. Next objective to familiarize students with the major critical concepts. What are the critical concepts are introduced to you? That is in this particular semester, that is lyrical ballads, poetic diction of William Wordsworth, Matthew Arnold's Touchstone method in literature, and those are the critical concepts introduced to you and you are going to familiarize with it to help students to study original contributions made in criticism. Original contribution means that is the what is the contribution of Wordsworth to the criticism, what is the contribution of other writers, critics like T.S. Eliot, Matthew Arnold, and the particular writers introduced to you and contribution of those critics. To acquaint students with the various literary and critical movements, you are going to learn the critical movements for the next to acquaint students with the various literary and critical movements, that is critical movements like symbolism and the movements of Victorian period and the French Revolution in romantic criticism. Those moments you are going to learn and get familiarized with it to train students to write critical appreciation of poetry. And one of the most important part, that is you are going to learn how to criticize or how to make critical appreciation of poetry, particularly poetry. Here you are not going to introduce how to criticize novel or how to criticize drama, but you are going to learn how to write down the critical appreciation of the poetry. These are the objectives, and next part is about the your syllabus. The first module, that is the fifth module in the sixth semester, that is romantic criticism. What is the meaning of romantic criticism? Here you are going to learn about the romanticism, the romantic period. That is, romanticism was an artistic, literary and intellectual movement that originated in Europe towards the end of the 18th century and in most areas was at its peaks in the approximate period from 1800 to 1850. That is the period of romanticism, and in this particular period there is a reaction to the industrial revolution. That is, it was also revolt against aristocratic social and political norms of the age of enlightenment and a reaction against the scientific rationalization of nature. It was embodied most strongly in the visual arts, music, and literature, but had a major impact on historiography, education, and the natural sciences. So, in this particular part of romantic criticism, you are going to learn the William Wordsworth theory of poetic diction. That is, poetic diction. What is the meaning of poetic diction? Here you are going to learn the term poetic diction. In it, it signifies the type of words, phrases, and sentence structures, and sometimes also of figurative language that constitute any work of literature. A writer's diction can be analyzed under a great variety of categories, such as the degree to which the vocabulary and phrasing is abstract or concrete. So, here we learn about the poetic diction of William Wordsworth. What is his opinion about the theory of poetic diction of the writer? Particularly in the preface to Lyrical Ballads, he wrote about that theory of poetic diction. Next module is about Victorian criticism. What is Victorian criticism? That is written in the period of Victorian era. Victorian period. It means Victorian simply identifies the historical era in England roughly coincident with the reign of Queen Victoria from 1837 to 1901. So, it was a time of rapid and wrenching economic and social changes that had no parallel in earlier history, changes that made England. And in the course of the 19th century, the leading industrial power with the empire that occupied more than a quarter of the earth's surface. So, in this particular period, you are going to learn the criticism done in the Victorian age, that is, for all its conflicts and anxieties, was one of the immense, variegated, and often self critical intellectual and literary activities. In our time, the term Victorian and still more Victorianism is frequently used in a derogatory way, that is, to connote narrow mindedness, sexual plagiarism, priggishness, the determination to maintain feminine innocence, that is, sexual ignorance, determination to maintain feminine innocence, narrow mindedness, and the emphasis on social respectability. Such views have a valid basis and in attitudes and values expressed and sometimes exemplified by many members of the expanding middle class with its roots in Puritanism and its insecurity about its newly won status. So, in this particular Victorian criticism, you are going to learn Matthew Arnold's Touchstone method. That is what is in which is taken from Matthew Arnold's The Study of Poetry. What is the meaning of Touchstone method? That is hard is a hard stone used to determine by the streak left on its when rubbed by a piece of gold when whether the metal is pure gold, and if not, the degree to which it contains an alloy. The word was introduced into literary criticism by Matthew Arnold in The Study of Poetry in 1880 to denote short but distinctive passages selected from the writings of great poets, which he used to determine the excellence of passage or poems which are compared called compared to them. Arnold proposed this method of evaluation as a corrective for what he called the fallacious estimates of poems according to their historic importance in the development of literature, or else according to their personal appeal to an individual critic. And Arnold put it, there can be no more useful help for discovering what poetry belongs to the class of the truly excellence, that to have always in one's mind lines and expressions of a great masters and to apply them as a touchstone to other poetry. If we have any tact, we shall find them an inflammable touchstone for dictating the presence or absence of high poetic quality and also the degree of the quality in all other poetry which we may place beside them. So, in this particular part, or Matthew Arnold's touchstone method proposed the passages from Homer, Dante, Shakespeare, and Milton, ranging in length from 1 to 4 lines. So, in this part, we learn about the Matthew Arnold's touchstone method in Victorian criticism. Next module about modern criticism. In it, we are going to learn T.S. Eliot's Tradition and Individual Talent essay. In it, he talk about what tradition says and how it affects to the individual talent and what is the meaning of individual talent in literature and writing literary pieces. And next part about the module number 8, that is practical criticism. In it, you are going to learn how the theme, the rhyming scheme, the particular core of the poem, and what is the writer's intention. All those things you are going to learn in that particular practical criticism, and how to appreciate or how to make critical appreciation or write down critical appreciation of the poetry with the help of those points of theme, poetic diction, or what is the rhyme scheme, what is the subject of that particular poem, and what is the theme uh, according to you, or what is the writer's intention, is important points in practical criticism of the poetry. So in next part we learn about the first part, that is romantic criticism. What is the concept of romantic criticism and how you are going to learn William Wordsworth preface to lyrical ballads and his theory of poetic diction. So in next lecture we'll learn about it. Till then, thank you.